Do you mind? We can appeal it. Go to the state Supreme Court, petition the legislature to amend the statute.
How long does that take?
Months.
We can push it through.
You want her in jail? Is that what you want?
I'm her lawyer, not her conscience.
I'll be fine.
Do you know what it's like inside? There's one prison for women in this state. It's got drug addicts, killers, women who keep razor blades under their tongues just in case.
Obviously made a decision, Joey. I think we should support it.
You support it. But you've made your point, okay? 8 months from now, when you're still inside here, nobody's going to remember what that point was.
Sophie's not a point, she's a person.
And so are you. It's not a sin to change your mind.
You think it's my fault.
Is it?
Go to hell.
Why don't you tell me?
Tell you what?
What you told Molly. That's what you're afraid of, isn't it?
Maybe it's none of your business.
Are you hiding something?
What do you think?
I hope not, because she's in a lot of trouble.
What's the word? Yeah.
You'll get one. You will.
Holy moly. Look what just blew in from Kansas.
Okay, ladies, let's go. Keep it moving. Into the van.
You lose something?
No. You lose. God, Molly, hey. Don't push getting better down the road. Get off it. I've had about the
Turn around. Open your mouth. Wide. Take your clothes off.
My clothes?
You want it easy or hard?
It's been almost 2 weeks since Molly McKinley, the former Sister of Mercy, entered the Women's Correctional Facility. In spite of protests from human rights organizations and local women's groups, Judge Boland shows no sign of reversing his decision. The woman's lawyer has applied several times for protective custody, which has been denied.
Turn it off.
Divided on the issue. Some groups feel that the Bickley family has applied excessive financial and political pressure.
Can I help you?
in an
Excuse me.
attempt to ward off
Miss,
unfavorable
do you have a minute?
publicity. Lee Keating,
This is cold.
attorney for
You know
the
what?
Bickley
I'm
family.
talking to someone right now. Wait your turn or take it to the kitchen yourself.
I've got a daughter your age. 16. Not quite so feisty. Must be hard on you. All the commotion. 14 days in jail?
12 days.
It's a long time to spend in a place like that.
What do you want?
You blame yourself, right? You're the reason she's in there? It's a big responsibility. You could do something.
It's none of your business.
Those records belong to you.
So?
If you turn them over, they'd have to let her go. It's your choice, not hers. That's what she's fighting for, right? So you can decide.
got a problem?
No?
You got a problem with me?
What do you want?
There's a kid in visiting. Says she's your daughter. What happened? Immaculate conception.
You shouldn't have come.
Why? Because you don't want to see me?
Because this isn't a good place for you to be.
And it's not a good place for you either, is it?
I'm fine.
You don't look fine.
Well, who are you gonna believe, you or me?
You should just give them the file. It's not that important.
I think it is.
I brought you something. My dad makes them sometimes. When my mom was alive, he said that they looked like her. And now it's her spirit watching over us. He says what you do is you put her over your bed at night so she can stop by and make sure you're all right.
It's beautiful.
I talk to her sometimes. Ask her to help out with things. I usually go to the cemetery, but I think you can broadcast from here under the circumstances. I don't think she'd mind.
Sophie, I'm sorry about this.
I know. I need to talk to you. I went to see her today in the jail. They're saying they'll keep her there unless she gives them the records. The thing is, it's my fault. I told her things, secrets. I didn't want you to be ashamed of me. Did you hear what I said?
T'ho sentito.
Why do you keep ignoring me?
Ma che? Non sto facendo niente.
I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to tell you something.
Per favore, stai zitta.
I went out sometimes at night. I got dressed up. I went to bars.
Sei una sprecognata.
I'm not what you think I am.
Adesso hanno dato la
I
famiglia.
am not a whore.
Pensa a tua madre.
English! He raped me. You know why she's in jail? Because of you. Because I was afraid of hurting you. I'm Sophie DiMatteo. I'm sorry to bother you. They said the records are mine.
Technically.
I want to give them to you.
Say yes to the first.
Can't do this. It's her right. Those were my records.
Sophie's records.
My apartment. And what gives you the right to go in there without my permission? What'd you do, break in?
Not exactly.
Yeah, well, I could sue you for that.
It's her choice, Molly.
She is 16 years old. What the hell does she?
You know, you better get this under control.
Don't you tell me how to act. Not you.
She was a little surprised.
What kind of a stunt was that?
What do you mean?
We agreed.
I changed my mind.
No, you didn't change your mind. They changed your mind.
Who did? Who's they?
The Bickleys, your father, Mr. Finn.
You said I should tell the truth.
Not your whole life story.
So I did. So what? I didn't rape anybody. I shouldn't be ashamed.
It isn't about shame. There are issues.
What issue?
Privacy.
My privacy. Isn't that what you said? I decide. You want to stay in jail forever, right? All you care about is your stupid issue.
That is not true.
It is. St. Molly saves the
But
day.
fine. You want to give him those records? You just give him those records, but don't expect me to pick up the pieces because I can't. I cannot do it.
So you're punishing me, right?
What do you mean?
My mother used to do it. Starve and suffer.
I'm not hungry.
Listen, I read the files. I don't think they're so bad. If Keating finds out that Sophie took money, so what? It's not admissible. It has nothing to do with the rape.
They'll use it anyway.
So we moved to strike.
It's a trick. You know that. The jury hears, they're not going to forget.
Fine, so we come at it a different way. Let him call her a floozy, a tramp, whatever he wants, and then I put you up on the stand, and I make it clear to the jury that you really know Sophie. You know what really happened.
Won't work.
Ex-nun, Sister of Mercy, for God's sake. What could be better than that?
Joe, she said that if anybody ever found out about this, it would destroy her. Now, she told me I wrote it down, and they're going to use it against her.
She's a tough kid.
Maybe she's not. I used to teach. Before I left the convent, a student of mine, a girl, she came to me, and she told me that a boy forced her to have sex. She said she was fine, and I let her go, and she killed herself that night.
This is not the same thing.
You don't know if she's fine. She doesn't even know.
But you can't quit just because you're afraid.
I can't sit there and watch them break her down. Please, don't go on with this case. Just drop it. It's not too late.
I can't.
Why?
I promised a friend of mine, okay? Wasn't a friend at first, but then she said something that kind of got to me. She said the only thing that really matters is Sophie. And if we fight for her, then that's all she needs. Prosecution calls Sophie DiMatteo.
I was going home. I had just dropped Dina off, and I noticed this car following me. It hit me, and I skidded off the road. He pulled in front of me and got out. I said, "What the hell's the matter with you?" And he said he was tired of me playing games. He must have hit me because I was bleeding. He said, "Nobody jerks me around."
What was he doing?
tearing my underwear, pulling it off.
Did you tell him to stop?
I kicked him. I leaned on the horn. I kept reaching for the light. I thought if somebody could see.
What happened?
I crawled in the back seat. He followed me. He pulled down his pants and he shoved it in.
Thank you. That's all, Your Honor.
Top student, editor of a law review. I have to say that Tommy Bickley I know couldn't do something like this.
If he didn't do it, why accuse him?
People are hungry for attention. A big trial like this, it says you belong somehow. The system recognizes you. You count.
You think she's lying?
I don't think her story holds up.
Why didn't you tell anyone you were raped?
Because I thought I could get in trouble.
With whom?
With the police, I had a fake ID.
With your father?
Maybe.
Is that why you lied?
I didn't lie.
Gave him the wrong name, wrong age. You claimed you were in the car alone. Sounds like a lie to me.
Your Honor.
Did your father know that you went to the bars?
No.
Did he know you were sexually active?
No.
Did he know that you had taken money for sex?
Objection.
Sustained. Jury will disregard that question. You know better than that, Mr. Keating.
You didn't want your father to know, did you? What you were doing that night?
That's right.
What made you change your mind? Didn't you imagine your father be less upset if he thought you were raped than if he thought you were having sex?
No.
Well, that's what you told Molly McKinley.
I never said that.
If he knew.
Not about sex.
About what?
That I took money.
Order.
So, you didn't want your father to know that you had taken money for sex. And you told Molly McKinley that you would lie if necessary to hide that from him. Isn't that true?
I thought I would lie. I changed my mind.
No further questions. The defense calls Thomas Franklin Bickley III.
We were at the bar. Things were pretty intense. She said we should go to Gillen's Pond. She said I should follow her because she had a bigger car. So we drove to the pond. We parked. I got in.
That's it?
We had sex.
Was it consensual?
Yes.
No further questions.
You recognize these?
Yes, sir, I do.
Who do they belong to?
Sophie DiMatteo.
Do you know how they got torn?
I tore them.
You tore them?
Yes.
Under what circumstances?
Very nice circumstances, actually. We were both pretty excited.
Order. Order.
Where did you first meet Sophie DiMatteo?
Bickley Hospital, March 24th of this year.
Why were you there?
I was there to help her through an evidentiary exam. The resident said she'd been raped.
Objection?
Miss McKinley, the resident will testify as to his own opinion. You can't do it for him.
When you got to the hospital, how did Sophie look to you?
She had a cut on her head. There was a lot of blood, and she seemed to be in shock.
Did she tell you what happened?
I asked her if someone had hurt her, and she nodded. The next day, she came to my office and said she'd been raped.
Do you believe she was raped?
Her belief isn't relevant.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Yes, I do.
No further questions.
When you first met Sophie, what name did she give you?
And she didn't give me her name.
What name did you write on this form?
Teresa Silvio.
This form also says she's 23. Is she 23?
No.
She gave you the wrong name, the wrong age, but when she told you that she was raped, you believed her.
Yes, I did. And so did the police and the doctors and the man who found her bleeding on the side of the road.
Thank you, Ms. McKinley. This note here, what does it say?
You're taking this out of context.
You read it aloud for me, please.
No prior physical contact.
Did you write that?
Yes, I did.
6 witnesses saw Sophie making out with Tommy in the bar that night. Now, when she told you that she was raped, did she tell you that?
She was telling the story in pieces.
No prior physical contact. Did she say that?
No.
You wrote it down.
I was making an assumption. She was terrified. She didn't want to talk to me in the beginning at all.
You said that she told you what happened, and you believed her.
I believed she was raped, yes.
Something in the margin here. What is it? A little mark.
Answer the question, please.
It's a question mark.
Question mark. You make that mark?
Yes.
What does it mean?
She was afraid that...
Afraid or not, you thought she was lying.
Objection.
Sophie never lied about being raped. From the day I met her, that story didn't change.
Ms. McKinley, you didn't believe her. What did you think she was lying to you about? Where she was raped? How she was raped? Who raped her? If she was raped?
Your Honor.
No further questions.
You left pretty fast.
We were pretty busy.
I can see. I keep trying to apologize. I keep trying to tell myself that you were right. I pushed too hard, that I shouldn't have put you on the stand. Or I should have just dropped the case, but you know something? I'm not sorry. I'm sorry I didn't do better, but I'm not sorry I tried. You didn't hurt Sophie, Molly. They did. You gotta stop blaming yourself and just get back in the game.
Molly?
I'm fine. Organizing. She was in pain. I didn't listen carefully to what she was saying. I sent her away.
How did you sin?
I didn't help her. I didn't want her to depend on me.
That's not a sin, Molly.
She killed herself.
You think it was your fault?
I hurt people, Father. Doesn't matter what I do, I hurt them. Every day I wake up with my hands in fists, and I push people away.
What she chose to do is between her and God. I doubt it was because of you.
I'm afraid.
What did she teach you, Molly? How can you live differently because of her?
I don't know.
I think you do. If it troubles you, somewhere in your heart, you do.
Mr. DiMatteo, I'm Molly McKinley. I'm looking for Sophie.
She go.
What do you mean?
The neighbor, she says she sees Sophie in the road. She has her bag with her. She get into a truck. I go to the police, but they no help. I don't know where else to go. She has no mother. I hear her at night, in and out all night long. I stay awake. I want to say something. I never do. I think maybe I lose her too. You know Sophie. You know where she go. Please, you help me.
It's 1:15 WRIC Richmond in the first few hours of a new day. Still awake? You got some troubles? No one to talk to? Well, Ira's here, and all ears. So why don't you pick up the phone and give the bad dream to me? Line 1, we've got Bob G. from Baltimore. Is that right?
I took something.
Took something? What do you mean? You mean you're a thief?
It was just sitting there on the counter. Nobody was looking.
Took what? Stereo, a piano, a color TV?
A wallet?
A wallet?
Yeah.
So, why are you calling me?
I don't know.
You want to give it back?
No.
Something's troubling you, man. That's why you picked up the phone. Bob? You still with me?
Yeah.
Maybe you should tell somebody.
I'm telling you.
Sure, but I'm gonna hang up, Bob, then what?
I'll call again.
Somebody said they saw you on the highway getting into a truck.
I changed my mind. She was very sick, you know, before she died. What?
Nothing.
I'm not drunk.
I didn't say you were. What are you doing?
Leaving.
And where will you go?
I don't know. You don't always have to know everything before you do it.
You have a family, Sophie.
Oh, right.
He's very worried.
Because he doesn't know how to make breakfast.
Because he loves you.
He wants me to be like she was.
No, he doesn't.
What do you know? You're a nun.
I'm not a nun.
Well, you act like one.
And what's that supposed to mean?
You're a statue. Nothing touches you.
All right, you have a right to be mad.
I'm not mad. I'd have to like you for that. And I don't.
Okay.
I tried.
I know you did.
I tried.
I wasn't very nice to you.
It doesn't matter.
You want to know why? Because I'm afraid of things and people, everybody.
I don't care.
Well, I do. So you listen to me. I have never gotten close to anybody. I worry all the time. I don't know what to say, or I'm going to say the wrong thing. And usually I do say the wrong thing, or nothing at all. And that's even worse. And I couldn't face it. So I ran away. And I gave myself to God. It wasn't good, Sophie. I was ashamed. I didn't think I deserved a life. Please come home.
Why?
Because I don't want you to waste all the time that I did.
What's happening?
Devil's Diary.
Making you sick. No! Making me stronger.
Premieres Saturday, September 22nd at 8. Part of Lifetime Movie Network's Into the Light weekend. Hosted by Lisa Williams.
On March 23rd of this year, Sophie DiMatteo went to a bar called Johnny B's, just outside Richmond. By her own admission, this is something that she did quite frequently. Using a counterfeit license, driving an unregistered vehicle, she went there to pick up guys. Sophie was in the bar by her choice that night, and she met Tommy Bickley. She let Tommy kiss her. She let Tommy buy her beer. 6 witnesses saw Sophie that night having a very good time. Now Sophie says that Tommy raped her. Tommy denies this. You have a decision to make. You have to ask yourself, which of them is telling me the truth? And as you're making that decision, remember this. Sophie lied. She lied to the police when they first met her. She lied to the doctors at the hospital. She lied to her rape crisis counselor. She lied to her father every time she went to that bar. And after she claimed she was raped, she lied again as to how and what happened. Now, Sophie has said that Tommy forced her to have sex. I can imagine another scenario. Sophie had sex willingly. Tommy went home. George Gillum found Sophie, half naked, too drunk to drive, and called the police. And now Sophie had a real problem. How was she going to explain all of this to her father? A sweet old man who had no idea of the kind of life Sophie had been leading. There's no case for conviction. There's just a question mark at the end of her testimony. You can't but have a doubt, a reasonable doubt, the same doubt that Molly McKinley had when Sophie first told her this story. And if Sophie lied so many times to protect herself, maybe she's lying now.
If Sophie was mugged, or robbed, or beaten, would you be asking yourself so earnestly whether or not she has a tendency to lie about things? I mean, if you found her bleeding on the sidewalk and she told you that somebody hit her, would you feel the need to examine the records of her therapy sessions? Would you think that she'd hit herself? Sophie lied. But she didn't lie about the cut on her head, the scratches on her back, her torn shirt, torn underpants. She wasn't lying when she leaned on the horn and woke George Gillum in the middle of the night. She lied after she was raped because she was afraid. She was afraid that if she told the truth, she'd be punished for it. She would be disbelieved. She would be penalized because she's a little wild. And she was right. The defense has exposed her most private conversations to you. They've unpacked her past, mistakes, her self-doubts. Every indiscretion held up to you as proof that she wasn't raped. And now let me tell you something about rape. It never takes place out in the open in front of a TV camera. It happens in the dark when nobody can see. And so it comes down to a choice. Which one of these two people do you believe? Now the problem is we can't expose the rapist the way we can expose the victim. I can't bring Tommy Bickley's therapy sessions, private confessions into this courtroom. The law protects him against that kind of an attack. So the only thing that you can do is look at the facts and ask yourself, is Tommy telling the truth? What about the dent in Sophie's fender? What about the stitches on her head? What about the emergency room report that lists her condition as victim of assault? Somebody hurt Sophie that night. I mean, there were only two people there, Sophie and Tommy. Which one of them is most likely to tell you what really happened? Tommy Bickley has been accused of rape. How reliable is he? Ask yourself. Could he get up on that stand and tell the truth? In front of his family, friends, in front of a judge, in front of a jury? Could he possibly get up there and tell the simple truth? Say, I did it. On the night of March 23rd, 1995. I, Thomas Bickley, ran Sophie DiMatteo off the road, and I raped her. And I am guilty.
You gave her something today. You took it away and you gave it back. Chinese?
The only argument I can make is the same one I made before. You're a healthcare provider.
Won't fly.
A different judge.
They all read the same law books, Molly.
You have a hearing at 3 o'clock. We can't do anything by then. You have two choices. Give them Garcia's files or go back to jail.
And what happens when they subpoena the next set of records? Who goes to jail for that?
Why do I even keep these files? If I didn't have them, they couldn't take them away.
Molly.
Jury's in.
2 hours? That's it?
Mr. Foreman, in the case of the state versus Thomas Franklin Bickley III, charging him on count 1 of first-degree rape, have you agreed upon a verdict?
We have.
Would the defendant please rise? Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Don't do it, Molly.
I don't have to give them anything, not if it doesn't exist.
I can't advise you to do this.
Am I right?
You're crazy.
Okay, but am I right?
You're never right.
Miss McKinley, how do you feel about what happened today?
I think justice was served.
What do you think?
I think it's time to go home. What about the Garcia case? Are you prepared to go to jail again?
If I have to.
Quite a victory.
Thank you.
You could have some trouble at the center.
What kind of trouble?
A lot of people don't approve of what you're doing. They find your tactics a bit extreme.
Stick around, Mr. Keating. You ain't seen nothing yet.
So, Susan Ann, 11286. Got it. Next. Arbiter, 5588. Yeah. Colleen Ball, 6685. Mary Baldassari, 41290.
Helen Mason, 5887. Elizabeth Morris, 7493.
Yuroko Sakura, 1194. Margaret Salvia, 12692. Death Aruda, 61390. Yep. Kathleen Aruda, 71088. Bingo.
I heard you were having a party. I didn't want to miss it.
Where did you get this?
A friend. He thought we should have it back.
What friend?
He's waiting outside.
And what are you planning to do with this? As a lawyer, I'm obliged to advise you that what you're doing could be construed as an obstruction of justice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
should have done this when you told me to.
Extraordinary development today, the Middlesex County Rape Crisis Center burned the files of over 3,000 current and former clients. Defense attorneys were outraged, calling the act a flagrant obstruction of justice. The director of the center said that until rape laws begin to focus on the perpetrators of the crime, they will keep no further record of consultations with clients.
Susan Colfax, Anna Marie Martinez, Roberta Hanson, Jessica Harris, Lisa Lee, Maria Hernandez, Martha Gutierrez, Terry Wilson, Debbie Mills, Karen Green,